So, came to the conclusion that I'm gonna have to take the tow rail off. So just from spraying down the boat when I was cleaning off all the dust from the hull, just the little bit of water that I got up here was leaking down through some of the through bolts. There's really only two options. I either just run a bead of caulking down the length of the tow rail and hope that that seals it, or I have to take it off and rebed it. The only real option is to take it off and rebed it, because I'm going to install a rub rail. That's going to be a lot of work, and if I just do a temporary fix of just caulking, I'm going to end up having to take it off anyways and undo all the work that I'm going to have to do on the rub rail. So I'm just going to have to go ahead and take it off. So, thought I could get away without doing it, but need to do it right, so lots of screws to remove and bolts. First I have to remove this track so I can get access to the bolts underneath it. So I've been working down here in the interior a little bit more, and I got this step back in place. Before I would have to step here and then kind of step all the way down, so really makes getting in and out of the boat a lot easier. And it just has these little barrel bolts on both sides, and those keep it down pretty good. So I epoxied this little strip of wood up there, so I can screw a piece of plywood here, and this is going to kind of be my little instrument panel. So I'll have my switches here, and then on this side the engine controls. I've started trying to kind of lay out the electrical system. Gonna put a battery on this side. This will probably be where the deep cycle battery is. I'll probably add another one later. Probably add another battery in the same spot on this side to be the starter battery. So I think that'll be a pretty good spot for them. Alright, so we got this port side tow rail off. It's quite the pain in the neck. Alright, well, we've got both of the tow rails off now. Ended up being a pretty big job. The port side tow rail came off fairly easily, but on the starboard side it took a lot of work. I don't think it's ever been removed. I think the port side had been removed, so it was a lot easier to come up. This side I had to cut most of the bolts. Boat looks pretty weird without a tow rail. There was quite a bit of rot on these pieces on the back. I guess this is just all dry rot. It's just turned into powder in some places. Some of it's good, but this lower section, I'll probably just grind it out, the bad stuff. Hey! Hush! Anyways, I'll probably just grind out the bad stuff. Get to fresh wood or better wood. And then I'll probably just sit this piece back down into some thickened epoxy. I am going to have to do some kind of repair here. Maybe cut this back a little ways and glue in a new piece of wood. I don't know yet. So for the deck, I just need to come back and scrape all this black stuff off, sand it, and then it should be pretty much ready to have the tow rails put back on after I get those ready. So here's the starboard side tow rail. So the teak plugs on this side, they go all the way down to the top of the bolt. So it's really hard to drill them out. So what I've been doing is just using a smaller bit, and then I just drill out the center a little ways, and then I'll come back and just kind of cut it out a little bit with this until I can get kind of a basic idea of the angle. And then I'll come back with the larger bit and drill it out down to the head of the bolt. And then once I've done that, I just come back with a hammer and tap the bolt up, and it usually comes out okay. So just have a few more to do. So the port side has been removed and rebedded at some point, because there's a different type of sealant, and also the bungs, the teak plugs were pretty shallow, like they didn't go very deep. So I drilled those out. Then I would just fall down to the head of the screw with the bit, so these are going to be a lot easier to remove. So I just need to get all the screws out, then I can clean up the bottoms, get it all sanded, and then start putting it back together.
Zach's trying to dig out the rudder that we haven't even seen for
I think it's back here.
years. Has it been over a year?
Yeah. Probably 2 years. The epoxy should be cured now. Oh, God.
You have to be careful where you grab it.
We also, for some reason, used like the heaviest fiberglass cloth they had. I don't know why we did that. So I've also been working on the rudder some more. Spent a couple hours sanding it, and it's ready for another thin layer of some fiberglass. I need to cover over the edges, and then around the front, and then I just need to wrap some more around here. But it looks a lot better than it did. That's for sure. Just need to wait for a little bit warmer weather, and then we can get that glassed over and get it painted. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this video. I know it was a little bit shorter than usual and maybe not as interesting, but been a little bit of a slow week for us. The weather's been kind of sucky, and it's pretty cold right now, which I'm not used to. So it makes it a little bit more challenging, but yeah, lots of stuff coming up, more exciting stuff coming up. Gonna keep working on the tow rail, hopefully have those installed in the next couple weeks, and then as soon as we get some good weather, I'm gonna try to varnish the mast and keep working on the rudder, and yeah, also waiting on better weather for to finish painting the hull. But I may wait until the tow rail and the rub rail is installed, just in case I ding it up. So yeah, gonna focus on the tow rail and the rudder, and if I get a good opportunity, start varnishing the mast. So yeah, alright guys, well thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.